Steve Jewin, MMA Mania.
All right, Benson, you're on with Steve from MMA Mania. Go ahead, Steve.
Benson, Steve Jewin, and it's great to talk to you again. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, Steve. How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. And I want to tie everything together here with a little story. 3 years ago, on one of the most bitterly cold nights I have ever spent in Chicago, I saw one of the hottest fights I've ever seen. Had a chance to talk to you before and after that fight when you fought Josh Thompson for 5 rounds. It was a fight that left everybody there covering it, wondering who won right until the scores were announced. Now, 3 years later, we fast forward, and Josh Thompson fought Patricio Pitbull, and a lot of people were thinking Josh was the number one contender at the time, and Patricio knocked him out 40 seconds into the second round. So, knowing the shared history here, what are your thoughts facing Patricio, knowing what he did to Josh, given the war that you had with him?
I think it should be a good, fun fight. I'm intending on going out there and beating the tar out of him. He's going to go out there and try and beat the tar out of me. We're going to find out, who the man is that night. So I'm looking forward to a fun fight. I'm bringing my son a shade door afterwards. I know I'm going to be bruised up and beat up and whatnot. I know he's going to be bruised up and beat up and having a couple black eyes. So I'm intending on having a all-out war because that's all Patricio knows. That's all he does. That's what he has. Is he has those those wars. He eats one to give one. So my job is to make sure that the one he eats for me is going to be a lot more powerful than the one that I take to him.
Of course, but were you surprised that Josh Thompson wasn't able to have that same kind of success?
On any given night, you never know. Some guys beat Anderson Silva. Do I think they would ever beat Anderson Silva again or come close? Absolutely not. Some guys beat Jose Aldo. Would they come close ever? Not 9 out of 10 times? No. 9 out of 10 times it's not even close because they beat the tar out of him. That one time, do they happen to beat Jose? Yeah, sure, okay, no problem. Good for him. On that night, he was a better man. So, us as competitors, we understand, we know, on any given night, you're either going to win or you're going to lose. And it's not always super indicative of 10 out of 10 times,
Well, it sounds like you're super confident about the way it's going to go, that 9 out of 10 times you could probably beat Patricio, but is that also a confidence that comes in having been in so many main events, including your 4th one in a row in Bellator now?
I think for sure, a little bit of experience, having more experience, big fights, title fights, main event fights, my last, 20 fights or so have all been main event or co-main event fights, and having that sort of experience, I think it goes a long way towards your confidence and your preparation, how you prepare, having confidence going into a fight, knowing you've done every repetition, you've done all your workouts, you didn't skip any workouts. If I was supposed to do 4 sets of 15, I did all sets of 4. I did all, 4 sets of 15. I didn't do, 4 sets of 12. On my last set, I didn't do only 12 repetitions, I make sure I do all the extra work, I do all the extra sprints, I do everything I'm supposed to do to be fully 100% prepared going into the cage. Knowing that in the back of your head leads to a lot of confidence also. So I have that confidence going into all my fights. I think, this Pitbull contest is just more of the same.
One of the things we've heard you talk about in your post-fight interviews is your respect and admiration for the armed forces of this country and how they proudly serve, and how that's something you'd like to do yourself. Is that still in the back of your mind going into this fight?
Oh, for sure. Still in the back of my head. I think it'll be, time frame wise, not the time frame I wanted, but it is what it is. I think I will still for sure. In the back of my head, it's there, and I will for sure. But it's not not everything works out in this world that we live in. Not everything works out the right timing that you want, and this is one of the things that's not going to work out the right timing that I want, but it'll work out though.
Well, that is the kind of the direction I'm going with the timing is, how many more fights are there for Smooth Benson Henderson before it's time to pursue those other dreams as well?
I think I have a limited amount of time left for sure. I think I don't want to fight when I'm 40. I don't want to fight when I'm 39. I don't want to fight when I'm 38. So I definitely have a limited amount of time left. But luckily, thankfully, I'm blessed enough to, be one of those guys who I don't take that much damage in my fights. After my fights, I'm always pretty healthy. I don't really have too many black eyes. I think I've had one black eye my entire, fighting career after a fight. I've had one black eye. I mean, I had maybe one bloody nose my entire career, never had a broken bone after a fight, never had this, never had that. So, I'm one of those guys who can compete and fight and then a week later, 2 weeks later, be ready to go again. So the remaining time I have left, I want it to be as action-packed as possible. I want to get in and get after it, whether it's 155, title fight, 5 rounds, no problem. The next week you need someone on short notice at 170, sure. Give me a call. Sign me up. Let's do it. I think, I'm one of those guys who's blessed enough to be durable enough to do that. So I think, what I want mainly to do is make sure that the time I have left, I want it to be as action-packed as possible.
You kind of answered a question I was already going to ask you about fighting at 170, so I'll reflect on something you just said and take it in a different direction with Ben Askren, because he decided that he didn't want to be fighting at 38, 39, 40 and just retired at 33 years old, and that's the age you are now. So does that factor into your thinking as well, seeing guys that are as accomplished and skilled as him decide to hang it up at 33?
Oh, I think for Ben Askren, it was in a little bit of a different situation, different scenario than myself. He's he's an interesting character. He's a different sort of a person. But I think him and I are vastly different in where we're at in our careers and the amount of damage we took and, how much we're fighting for, a lot of those things, Ben Askren is, I didn't know he retired. It was the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, after his last fight and won, he said, I've done everything I could do. I'm undefeated. I've been a champion in Bellator. I'm the champion here. That's it for me.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah, well,
never have heard that before.
I didn't mean to break the news, but anyway, I know you say
that. Breaking the news, though. I said, no worries, no big deal there.
Well, you say you're completely different, and I do agree with that, but one thing you both have in common is a very fundamental wrestling base, and something you and I have never talked about before is that you actually went to school out here where I am in Nebraska.
I did. I went to school in the Blair, Nebraska at Dana College. Closed down after, 126-year existence. Sad that the Dana College closed down, but I know Blair very well.
Definitely was one of the greatest wrestling teams in the country at the time when you were there. So do you feel like that experience shaped and molded you for your future and all the success you had in WEC, UFC, and now in Bellator?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I think my wrestling days absolutely made me and prepared me and helped make the man that I am today and helped me have success in all the experiences, all the challenges I had I faced, whether it was the WC, UFC, just fighting, just starting out, the bumps and bruises, the sadness, that comes along with training, with getting beat up, with being a younger fighter. I think my college wrestling days at Dana, the butt whoopings I took there helped make me the man I am, helped make me prepare for, the butt whoopings that were to come inside my MMA training and to have success, in MMA.
Was it a bit of a cultural shock, though, at all, coming from Washington, coming out to Nebraska, what the life was like out here?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think a huge culture shock going from the diversity of Seattle, the Federal Tacoma, Washington area. The biggest thing just for me, the diversity, big, huge difference from, Seattle to Omaha. That's a pretty big cultural shock there.
Right. Well, we do have some good restaurants and some good diversity here, but it's definitely not the same as the Emerald City, so to speak. It's not quite as vibrant, I would say.
Exactly.
Glad that you have that history and that we share a little bit of that, because it's been a joy to watch you succeed over the years in all the different mixed martial arts organizations you've been with. And now with Bellator, it's an interesting time in your career, as you said, because you've had 2 title fights in 3 opportunities so far. So is another title opportunity something that you're looking for with a win over Patricio?
Oh, for sure. I think me as a competitor, me as a mixed martial artist, just my personality, who I am, I always want to, fight to be the best. I want to fight to have, belt around my waist. I want to be the top guy on the ladder. And so when I get to the point where I'm not fighting for belts or fighting for, number 1 ranking or fighting to be up there, that's when I think for sure I have to take a second look at myself and see if I really want to be doing this anymore, because probably not. Who I am as a person, I need to fight, for belts. I have to fight for, being the best in the world. That's who I am. So that's what I do.
Being the best in the world at what you do, definitely that. And also one of the smoothest, no pun intended, transitions from UFC to Bellator I've ever seen when you came in, because Dana was actually very complimentary to you on the way out, and that doesn't always happen with a lot of fighters.
Yeah, I think it's very important to not burn any bridges and just be a good person. It doesn't matter how things work out. Just don't be a dick. Don't be a butthead. Like, if things don't work out with your current employee or your independent contractor, so the person you're working with independently, don't be a butthead about it. Don't burn any bridges. Just be a nice person. Say thanks for the opportunity. See you later. Hope everything's goes well. Yada yada. Maybe we'll see each other again. Basically, it's my outlook in life now with the way the world, outside world going, the political landscape, or whatever your political views are. Just don't be a butthead. God, just if you leave a job, don't be a butthead about it. If you're, going to school, you don't like the school, okay, cool. You don't have to like the school. Just don't be a butthead. It's not that big a deal. It's not that hard. Just don't be a dick. Goodness, people.
Well, I think we've got some life lessons today. You've also got some advice out there for the kids who are struggling in the world and saying, hey, I don't feel like you fit in. And you're saying, well, just handle yourself and don't be a dick.
Exactly, man. It's not that hard. I don't know why we have such a hard time with that. I think we all, as a country, as a society, need to go back to the golden rule. Just treat others how you want to be treated. You're having a bad day, how do you want someone to treat you? You're having a good day, how do you want someone to treat you? Just don't be butthead, people. Just don't be butthead. So, there you go. Life lesson. One and only life lesson from me. That's it. Only thing I'll ever say is just don't be a butthead. Just, live the golden rule. Treat other people how you want to be treated. That's it. Doesn't matter whatever you believe, this or that. Doesn't matter. One rule. Everybody treat others how you want to be treated. Done.
Do you ever even have bad days, Benson? Because whenever I talk to you, you're always in a positive mood. You're always upbeat. Everything always seems to be going so well for you. It feels to me like when I talk to you, there is no such thing as bad days for you.
Oh, it's all about your outlook, man. Like, honestly, it doesn't matter even if you have a bad day. Like, you say this goes wrong, that goes wrong, something's like a bad day is going on. It's your outlook on life. You honestly are going to have a better life if you just look at it differently. You blow a fat tire, you're going to be late to work. Yeah, that sucks, but how you look at it, how you approach it. So for me, a lot of times, bad things happen, but it's about how I look at it. It's about how I view it. It's about how I see it. I have flat tires too. I don't look at it as a challenge. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be late to work, and oh my goodness, oh blah, blah. I look at it, last time I changed my tire, it took me 47 minutes. This time, I'm hoping I can get it under 30 minutes. Challenge it, accept it, let's do this. How long does it take to change my tire? Just how you look at life, man. It's a big deal. For me, I learned it, I want to say earlier on, but I learned it earlier on enough that it has really helped me in my life in fighting, in wrestling, in life in general, in relationships, and your girlfriends, boyfriends, and wives, in dealing with kids. Oh my goodness. You better have a positive outlook dealing with kids, because everything's going to go wrong. If it can go wrong, you have kids, it's going to go wrong. It's better it goes wrong and you have a positive outlook than being a sourpuss about it.
Now, I have to think that also kind of applies to the fight with Michael Chandler. I think that was a flat tire moment where you didn't know the way it was going to go when those scores were raised, but you went out there and gave it everything, and I think you can still walk away with your head held high after that.
For sure. I think, Michael Chandler, I didn't get my hand raised. I lost that in the 3 judges' eyes. 2 of the judges saw it going the other way for Chandler. But I will say, I've had plenty of close fights. Frankie Edgar.
I've been in a lot of them too that you've had that are close fights. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, like, no worries. Donald Cerrone, Frankie Edgar, Anthony Pettis. Like, I've had a lot of close fights. A lot of decisions not, go my way. I had a lot of decisions go my way. All I can say is that the Michael Chandler fight, if you look at him after the fight, you look at me after the fight, all my close wins, I never got beat up. I never had a black eye. I never was bruised. I never was saggy, soggy, frumpy, and sad, and beat up, and sore, and bloody nose, and black eye, and all that stuff. I never gotten beat up any of the close decisions that I won. Against Michael Chandler, you look at the two of us afterwards, you can tell someone got beat up and someone didn't get beat up. I did not get beat up. So it's very little solace. I'd rather get my hand raised and be beat up than get my hand raised, not get my hand raised and not be beat up. I always want to win. Doesn't matter how I look. So very little solace for myself, but I will say I've never won a close decision and gotten beaten up. Against Michael Chandler, I lost he won the decision. He won a close decision, but he also got beat up during the whole 5 rounds.
Now, when you do eventually get that title shot that we're hoping you'll earn, would you want it to be a rematch with Chandler? Would you want him to get the belt back from Primus first, or would you be fine with facing Primus?
It doesn't matter to me. I care not one whit. It doesn't matter to me. I want the belt around my waist, whether I fight Chandler, Primus, whether I fight Andre for Koreshkov for a belt, whether I fight Doug Slima, it doesn't matter who. I don't care. I want a belt. I want to be the best. It doesn't matter to me who it's against. I'm one of those guys. Do it. Sign me up. Let's go. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Just get me in there. Give me a chance to earn a belt around my waist.
So you've already predicted that you're going to be looking better and feeling better coming out of this fight. But let me ask you one more thing, and then we'll start to wrap up. Do you have a prediction on when the fight will end? Will it be first round? Will it go the distance? I know you'll be looking better, but when will it end?
I never know quite on when it will end. All I ever know, I normally just say, like, I'm going to leave the cage with my hand raised. But I will say this, for this fight, I will go one step further. I'm getting more bold and more, non-PC in my fights, in my interviews and whatnot, being a little more, daring. So I'll say not only will I leave with my hand raised, but I'm going to leave with a stoppage of somehow. I'm working my butt off. I want a stoppage. I need a stoppage. I need to have an impressive performance. I have to impress, judges, matchmakers, fans, but only thing I can control is myself in that cage, so I need to control what I can control. I need to do my job, and that's to win impressively, to make sure that my next fight is for a belt. And that's what I want to do. That's what I need to do, is make sure my next fight is for a belt. So I have an impressive performance here. I think, hopefully, that will necessitate, hopefully that will encourage our next fight being for a belt.
Well, Benson, we can't ask for anything more than that, and I don't think the fans can either, because that's why they're coming to see you in the main event at Bellator 183 in San Jose at the SAP Center. But before I let you go, throw out any plugs, throw out any sponsors, anything you want to mention.
No, not really. Just, wanted to say to all my true fans who've been riding with me for years now, even the new fans who are just hearing about me, just seeing me. Just thanks for all the love and support, man. Like, it's a wild and bumpy ride. Life is, so it's not just fighting, not just, mixed martial arts career, wrestling career, but just life in general. I've had some hardcore, amazing fans who are friends now. And just thanks for all the support over the years. It's a hard job, man. It's tough. It's a good job. It's an amazing job. Has given me some amazing, opportunities. I got to go travel the world, this and that and blah, blah, blah. All that being said, it's a hard ass job. It is tough. You literally physically get beaten up. It's not a mental, you get mentally tired and sore and it's depression and blah, blah. No, physically you get your ass kicked every single day. That's what I do. I go to the gym. I get beat up every single day to make sure that I shine when those lights and cameras are out there, so it's a tough job. So just thanks for all the support, from all the, the hardcore loyal fans, and even the newer fans for riding with me, sticking with me through everything so far.
Thank you right back for all the amazing fights you've given us over the years. I've thoroughly enjoyed the ride from the WEC days up to today. So continue to have amazing performances and continue to share your positive outlook with everybody. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you. And thank you, Dan, as well.